Hey, what's up, guys? This is HeadKick Audio, Episode 3, and we are here with Steve the Dick and Crazy J. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. How's everybody doing, including you?
Oh, I'm great. We are actually recording this on Easter Sunday evening. How about them apples?
Well, I don't know about apples, but those eggs were pretty good.
Yeah. So the reason why we're actually having to record or work on a holiday is because I spent all of yesterday, which would be Saturday 4/20. I spent that in Phoenix, Arizona, attending a festival. It was, yeah, it was halfway decent. Halfway. I think.
Yeah, I heard you got to watch some Kill Switch Engage live, dude.
Hells to the yeah. It was muy delicioso, but the headliner, yeah, not so good, not so great. So I can check it off my bucket list, and I never have to do it again, so I don't have to even worry about that. So, yeah, happy Easter, everybody. Hopefully everybody had a great Easter Sunday. But we got to get to work here, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to go over a little bit of some news that's been occurring over the MMA landscape over the last couple days here. And this is actually pretty fresh as far as I am concerned, because I was dead to the world yesterday. I didn't even touch my phone. It was crazy. But Darren Till was arrested for quote-unquote allegedly, and we're going to be using this allegedly a lot. So I'm going to say it different than the rest of the story. So Darren Till arrested for allegedly stealing a cab and trashing his hotel room in the Canary Islands, which I think is off the northwest coast of Africa.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully this isn't stemming from his KO loss to Jorge Masvidal, and maybe it's just a 26-year-old kid trying to be a 26-year-old kid.
Well, hopefully that's it, because from what the story allegedly says happened, it sounds like he was trying to be a fucking rock star or something from like the 80s. Holy shit.
Yeah, leave the rockin' to the rock stars, man. Everybody needs to get out of this. Conor McGregor can do whatever the fuck he wants and get away with it, so, hey, so should I. Just that mentality needs to just go away. Conor McGregor gets away with it because he's Conor McGregor, and last time I checked, there was only one. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and just leave it at that. We'll keep you updated. Hopefully, he didn't hurt anybody, or himself, or his little crew of fellow Brits, I'm assuming. But
I believe so, yes.
Okay, well, thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, in other news, it keeps getting sadder and sadder. BJ Penn apparently is being investigated for allegedly threatening a farmer with a machete. And this is after last week he's being investigated for, or having restraining orders thrown on him by his family. So I don't know what's going on with BJ Penn, but yeah, I don't know. Sit down before you hurt yourself.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, is he having a mental breakdown? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I'm hoping again nobody was hurt, and we just find out what's going on with BJ Penn and get him steered in the right direction, because you have to imagine stuff like this, all these news stories and stuff about, even Matt Hughes has, shit going on with his family too, all these old-time Hall of Famers, these veterans, there's legacies at stake here. So hopefully they can, at least minimize the damage, because years from now, that's all people are going to fucking remember, was these guys were animals in and outside of the cage. And it's like, come on, guys, let's not taint the sport like that. We've already got enough shit going on with Conor McGregor, and his shit, it's worldwide. Whenever he takes a dump, everybody finds out about it. So
Hmm.
I just, I'm not really a big fan of all these negative stories. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the page and go to something a little bit more positive, but kind of unfortunate. Sultan Aliyev, I'm probably butchering that. After his win at UFC St. Petersburg, he quietly retires. Um, he wins his fight against, I think it was what, Kieta Nakamura? Is that the fight that I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Okay, you're
Yes, it is.
okay. Um, it wasn't the best performance, but I think he was coming off of a layoff, and that Nakamura guy, he's pretty crafty veteran. So um, it was a little bit of a technical battle, if you will, but he gets the win nonetheless, coming off a layoff, and I think he's excuse me, I think he's up there in age. I think he's I don't know. Did we get an age on that guy?
No, but I believe he was like 35, if I remember right.
So like
Something like
mid to late
something around there.
30s. Yeah, mid to late 30s, which for the smaller weight classes, it's hard to stay competitive. Their bodies start to break down. I don't know why heavyweights are just, they can compete well into their 40s. Excuse me. So, which is great. I mean, heavyweights, you gotta love them. Anyway, but yeah, he gets the win. And while he was in the octagon, I'm pretty sure he wanted to, announce it there, but he doesn't get the chance, and just does it backstage. So hey, good luck to you. You're getting out on a win, which 9 times out of 10 that doesn't happen. People go out on losing streaks, not a
Hmm.
win. So very happy for him to go out of the sport on a high, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna retire, you always want to make sure that you go down, on top. And I mean, because I mean, what if he would have lost? Would he have still made the retirement announcement? So I mean, at least he can make his retirement on his terms instead of getting concussions or having like a devastating injury that could take him out of competition.
Now,
And
do you think that fighters that contemplate retirement and lose, do you think that they continue fighting in hopes to get a win, to retire with a win, and then just end up going on like this long skid? Like I think BJ Penn has like lost 6 or 7 straight, and he's still trying to compete. Do you think it's just I need to retire on a win, or do you think some guys just don't know how to retire?
I think it could be a little bit of both. Um,
Definitely in BJ Penn's case, right?
yeah, because well, with the name, BJ Penn, everybody that's familiar with the MMA world, they know who BJ Penn is, and so if he were to retire on a loss, maybe in his head, his fans are like, "Oh, that sucks. He lost so much," and it'll kind of be like a more of like a downer. But if he's able to get that win, and he's like, "All right, guys, I'm done hanging up the gloves, whatever,"
But then they get that
then
win. But then they get that win, and it's like, hey, I could still compete. I could still do it.
yeah, but I mean, if you're already contemplating retirement,
You should
that's always going to
retire.
be in the back of your head, and you
If
should
you're
just do it.
contemplating it, just do it. Just do it.
Exactly.
Because what's going to happen is you're either going to go on a skid, and whatever quote unquote legacy you had, like a BJ Penn, since he's a pioneer, he did so much for the lighter weight classes, and he did it when the UFC was not where it is today. So
Yeah.
I guess a BJ Penn legacy, you can't really like tarnish that too much. Although he's doing a pretty fucking good job with what he's got going on in his home life, but
Hmm.
all that bullshit aside, I think he's one of the ones that can get away with it, as opposed to like who's one that did it recently. Well, shit, I kind of stumped myself there, but guys, they go out and they they either compete until they just, they lose so much, and then they get thrown out of the organization, and then they retire quietly so nobody even knows that they're retired. They just kind of go away. Or, they get that win after going on a losing streak, and then they just think, oh, hey, I did it. I can still compete. I can still do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I think, like, if it was me personally, if I was already contemplating it, I would probably do, like, a 2-fight, maybe 2 more fights max. Whether they're wins or losses, or a win, loss, whatever. I would make that, 2-fight commitment and be like, all right, these next 2 fights I'm going to do, and then I'm just going to retire. Whether it's on a low note or a high note, no matter what, I have to look on my career and be like, this is what I want to do, and, it's kind of time to move on. So.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with people being satisfied with themselves, because fighters, to be a fighter, you have to have an ego, and sometimes those egos force them to not retire. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. So I think guys and retirements are just so short-lived. And look, Tito Ortiz, he's fucking retired like three or 4 times.
Yeah.
Okay? And he's still talking about fighting this year. You know what I mean? So, and then Chuck Liddell, retired on a 3-fight losing streak or something like that, where all of them were knockouts. He was getting finished every time he was touched, and then still comes back to fight Tito again when he literally had nothing to prove. You beat the guy twice when y'all were both in your primes, and now when you guys are older, and I think Chuck is like 5 or 8 years older than Tito. I don't have their ages in front of me, but I know Chuck is significantly older than Tito, and Tito was still competing. So his body was, holding up to these training camps, as opposed to Chuck Liddell, which, he may have been in shape, but being in shape and being fight ready, I mean, those are 2 completely different worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like me getting in really good shape and me right now. Me in really good shape would kick me right now's ass. You know what I mean? So just imagine that same disparity, but with a fighter being in really good shape as opposed to fight ready. The fight ready fighter is going to kick the in shape guy's ass. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I just wish that when guys would retire, just stay retired.
Exactly.
During your fight career is when you should be setting yourself up for the future. Look at guys like Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson's already got a couple companies that he's working on in the background while he's competing. George Roop, I believe he retired, and he's got a marijuana cultivation company coming out. So, hey, good luck with that, George. Well, especially with today's market, if we go to complete legalization across the board, George is going to be a wealthy man. So good for him. Good for him. And his plot, I haven't seen anything recent, but it's huge. It's fucking huge, and it looks like he's taking all the right steps to do everything right. So I'm really proud of him. Not that my opinion fucking matters about anybody, anywhere, anytime, any day. But if you're listening, George, which you may not be, because it's just me. But hey, props to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm excited, especially if they legalize. Whoo! Because that's the thing. I don't smoke because it's not legal. If it was legal,
oh
yeah, it would take care of my foot pain. Oh man.
Yep, take care of your foot, my back, dude. We'd be good.
Yeah, we'd be nice and high, huh? All right, and then so Sultan Aliyev, congratulations on the retirement. I don't know how we got on that fucking tangent. But congratulations and good luck to you on whatever you're doing in the future, my man. And I'm a go, a couple notches higher on the positive side. Angela Magana finally wakes up from her coma. I think she was under for like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, somewhere in there, like 2 or 3 days maybe.
Yeah, she she got pulled from her fight. You know, she was having problems, and I think she went into like emergency surgery, and you know, slipped into a coma, and they were unsure if she was gonna come out, and she does. She's talking. She's posting videos on Instagram and stuff. It seems like everything's still intact. So very, very happy for the happy ending here. I mean, I don't think she's completely out of the woods yet, but one could hope.
Yeah.
One can hope, and we're all crossing our fingers, whether you like her or not. I mean, a life is a life, as they say. So I'm super stoked that she didn't die.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I wouldn't want my worst enemy to die. Because then I'd have to go and pick another one, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's a shitty way of looking at it.
Well,
I don't want to have to put in the work finding a new mortal enemy.
well, I guess she was having some back surgery, and I guess there were some complications from that, and that's what put her into the coma.
Yeah,
So,
she was scheduled to fight for Combate. The
I
Combate America.
believe so. I believe so. Yeah. But I mean, shit, dude. You know, I've got 3 herniated discs in my back. Like, holy fuck! Like, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, so the fact that, you know, she's awake, she's moving, she's talking, like I said, able to do videos on Insta. Hey, congratulations. We're stoked. We are fucking stoked. All right, but we had an MMA event yesterday. While I was watching Bisk Limpget and Killswitch Engaged, you were watching some UFC St. Petersburg.
Yes, I was.
I had to catch it on that, not like tape delay, but, you know, I went onto the ESPN Plus and watched it after the fact. And really, I don't think there was a whole lot of me, like, sometimes when I'm watching fights and they get to like that point where it's just like, all right, man, like, fuck this fight. Because whether you're a fight fan or not, there's fights out there that are like, you know what, I don't have time for this. You know, It's Easter, it's a holiday, I'm supposed to be doing shit with my family, and what am I doing? I'm working. Yeah, that's right, I call watching fights work. Fight me. But I didn't like reach. I think I reached for the remote one time, but I didn't do it. I didn't fast forward, and that's because it's really scary when you're fast forwarding with the Roku, which is how I use that's the product I use to stream the ESPN. I use the Roku. Well, when you go to fast forward, like, it just goes away, so you can't see what you're fast forwarding through. So imagine if I had like fast forwarded through one of these fights and then boom, there was a fucking crazy ass knockout, and I'm getting to see who won. That would fucking suck.
Yeah, I ran into that problem a little bit on my PlayStation, and I even had a problem with it rubber banding, as we call it. So, like, let's say watching a fight, somebody throws a really good combo, like a right hook to a left low kick to like a right head kick.
Oh, so a la Donald Cerrone versus Rick Story.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so that happens. And yeah, that's awesome and everything. But I guess the internet thinks that it's so nice that it should just rubber band back and you get to watch it again, because that's just how it works sometimes.
Well, see, if the internet worked like that, but just on purpose, to where it was something so beautiful you just had to watch it again, and it really didn't like affect anything else, I'd be cool with that. If like the webiverse or the introverse or whatever the fuck you want to call the internet, okay? If it just fucking knew, bro, that would be sick. I would love that. But instead, it's like, oh, hey, this is such a fun fight. You don't get to watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, anyways, like I said, I think I reached for the remote one time during this whole card. So, let's go ahead and hop to it. UFC, I think they're calling it like on ESPN Plus 7. We're just calling it UFC St. Petersburg, because that's a lot less to say. And with all these names that we're going to throw out there and how uncertain we are of how to pronounce them, yeah, good luck on us saying USC on ESPN +7 St. Petersburg Rush. I'm just not going to do all that. I'm just not. So let's go ahead and get with it. Real quick, before we get to the card, though, at the end of this episode, or I should say towards the end, not at the end, but it's going to be the end, so I don't know. But Dan Tom from MMA Junkie, he's their fight analyst. We're going to have his interview at the end of this episode, and it's probably one of the funnest interviews I've ever done. I mean, the dude was super cool. The lightning round really fucked me up. He's super fast, super quick, and he like his answers, like, okay, so I wanted him to, like, without thinking, answer something, but I wasn't thinking he was gonna answer super fast as well. So it totally messed me up, man. Dan Tom, good job, and I would love to have Dan Tom. I'd love to have him on again. I really enjoy his Protect Your Neck podcast. Go check that out. He's just a fun dude, man. He's just a really fucking cool guy. So I'm gonna get off that and get on this UFC St. Petersburg. In preliminary action, okay, we had, just brace yourselves for the butchery, okay? Magomed Mustafiev defeats Rafael Fiziev, or Rafael, I don't know if he's Brazilian or not, Fiziev, or Fiziev? Fuck. TKO, spinning back kick and punches. That was a great way to start the fucking card, dude.
Yeah.
And that Rafael, like, super badass on the feet. And Magomed said, no, I don't care how good you are. Here's a spinning back kick. And the first one had nothing on it. The second one threw the guard, knocks him on his ass, follow-up punches. And this dude, he fucking exited stage left. Like, no, this fight's over, ref. The ref jumps on after he's like, I'm done. Great way to start the freaking his UFC St. Petersburg.
Yeah,
okay.
Very awesome.
After that, we had Michael. I called him Michael O last time, right? Do you think we can get away with that again, or should I really learn how to say this dude's last name?
We should really learn how to say the names, but for right now, I think it'll be all right.
Oleksiy Zhukov. Well, it's not like his opponent is any better. Gadzimurad Antigulov. So I don't know why he's against Gulov, but hey, whatever works for him. He gets knocked out in just 44 seconds. Now this Michael O, okay, he's small compared to like the rest of the division. Okay, I think the last time we covered him fighting was when he fought Jean Vellante, right?
Yeah.
Jean Vellante, huge fucking light heavyweight. The dude should move up to heavyweight, by the way. But Michael O looked really small, but used his speed, much like he did in this fight, and his footwork, much like he did in this fight, and his hands. Bro, this guy looks... Keep an eye on this dude, this Michael O. If he keeps doing this, we're going to have to learn how to say his last name. We're going to have to. And then we're going to have to learn if it's Michael or Mikal or Michal or Michelle or whatever. We're screwed. Because if he keeps doing that, we're going to have to learn how to say his name. I mean, we should really already know how to say it, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, knockout. And the dude, Antigulov, he was just coming forward and then boom, knockdown. Boom, knockdown. Boom, go to sleep. No, go to sleep. And then the fight's over. So, like I said, this card gets started off at a really fucking fast pace. I was enjoying myself. And then Shamil Abdurakimov. Oh, this
was actually pretty good.
Right? Well, if I take my time, I can say anything. Just not Oleksiy Zhukov. Alexiuk? Maybe it's Alexiuk. Okay, moving on. Shamil Abdurakhimov. TKO's Marcin Tibura. See, I can say that one. Marcin Tibura. Okay? And I really thought Marcin had something for this guy. But no, he did not.
Nah.
And this was, I think, his first camp back in Poland. Because I think he was somewhere in the States. He was at one of the big gyms and just decided, hey, I've gathered all of this wisdom, so I'm going to head back home and I'm going to just do my training camps there. And it didn't work out for him. So Shamil, I'm not going to go through his last name again, picks up the TKO win. Moving up in the heavyweight rankings, I see him. I think he was probably like number 10 or 12 or something like that.
He's number 13.
Number 13, definitely top 10 by Monday. Definitely top 10 by Monday. And if the UFC's in any hurry with this guy, he's already 37, by the way. This is what, remember I was telling you about heavyweights, how they can just fight forever. 37, and he didn't look, he didn't look like a 37-year-old fighter. He looked pretty good. He sounds like it, though. I can tell you that much. He sounded old, but he didn't fight old. But, heavyweights are different. Like I said, another fun fight. There you go right there. Alexander Yakovlev? Yakovlev. That sounds... Yakovlev. That sounds like something you spit up. Anyways, he submits Alex Da Silva. And Alex Da Silva was a little brown guy, and this Alexander, he was the tall, skinny white dude, right?
Yes.
With the beak. I remember him having a fucking beak.
Yeah.
That dude looks crazy at 155 pounds. Like, no fat on his body. And this was after he's rehydrated. He still looked like skin and bones. That was crazy. Like, skin and bones but ripped.
Yeah.
If that makes any fucking sense. Submits Alex Da Silva in round two. Round two, right?
Yeah, round two. Yeah,
they're calling
he threw that crazy. He threw that crazy like back suplex thing.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that was. It was probably a modified form of a guillotine because they were up against the fence. He had a weird angle on it.
Yeah.
I think it was probably more of a neck crank because I didn't see that anything was getting cut off.
I agree with that.
It looked painful, so no sense in getting your neck broken. You know what I mean? Live to fight another day, dude.
Yeah.
I think Alex Da Silva came in like 20-2, so now he's only 20-3. Okay, you're making your UFC debut in Russia. Okay, just hey, move on next. Young guy, young kid, a lot of promise. From what I heard, he was just running through people on the regional circuit. So this is good for him. Trust me, this is good for him. So, excuse me. Sorry, I got all these jelly beans and Peeps and Peeps. That's right, people. I eat Peeps. Fight me. I'm gonna get into a lot of fights, I bet, just because of this. Because I don't care. And if you don't like something that I do, fight me. Cash me outside. Just let me put some shoes on because I'm wearing the chanclas right now. I don't want to fight in sandals. You step on my toe and then I cry. No, we're just not doing it. Okay, and then the guy who quietly retired backstage, Sultan Aliyev, defeats Kieta Nakamura via unanimous decision. 30-27s all across the board. Was that what the broadcast said?
Yes.
Okay.
He was very, very dominant.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. It depends on how you see round 3. Either way, he still gets 2 of 3 rounds. I thought round 3 was probably the closest round, but it doesn't matter. I think you're right. I think Sultan was mostly dominant and gets the decision victory and then goes and retires. Kieta Nakamura has been around for a long fucking time, but he's been inconsistent. So we'll see if the UFC keeps him around. If not, hey Bellator, he's your guy. He's your fucking guy. I could see Bellator picking this guy up. He's got a lot of experience, and this is just assuming that the UFC releases him. I'm not really 100% sure what they're going to do with him or what his current win-loss is. So,
Yeah.
but if they do, Bellator should pick that guy up if he wants to continue fighting, because I think he's probably in the latter stages of his career. But Bellator's been trying to do this international thing. So, hey, he's Asian, and I'm not sure that they've done anything in Asia yet. So I think they missed the boat on like Yushin Okami, who signed to I think like ONE FC or Ryzen.
Yeah.
So and that Hochi Hiriguri. I don't even know how to say the dude's name. But the guy that just won at Ryzen over the weekend, I think he beat like Ben Wynn. So I think Bellator's missed the boat on some of these Asian fighters, and I think they could probably expand. And I know that they do shit with Ryzen all the time, where they trade fighters. They'll have their fighters go fight over there, and they'll have Ryzen fighters come over in Bellator. Not that I remember any coming over from Ryzen. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong there, please. Twitter, what are we? HKA_AZ, or are we at HeadKick Audio?
The HKAZ.
Okay.
HK_AZ.
That's our Twitter handle?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're listening to this and I am wrong, fucking correct me or fight me. Anyways, yeah, so unanimous decision. Homie retires. Kieta, we're uncertain of his future. Not a super entertaining fight. I think that was the one where I was reaching for the remote, and should I or shouldn't I? Like when you're going to eat something that you shouldn't eat, and you're like, nah, but it looks tasty, but nah,
Yeah.
I think that was the fight. I think that was definitely the fight. Okay, and then Mavsar Evliov defeats Senggu Choi. You think he's related to Duhu Choi?
Could be.
I don't know. I think the broadcast was saying something about the other Choi, but I'm not really sure. That was a pretty dominant fight, and I think there was even a point taken. What round was that? Round 2?
Yeah, it was round 2. It was one of those fuck, the knee to the head roll. But I guess
it was the knee to the grounded opponent.
Yeah. The thing was that he was, I guess, considered down because he was on at least one knee, and his hand was on the ground as well. And he hit him with I think he hit him with 2 knees. The first knee he got worn, and the second one that's when they took the point away.
Okay, and did they do any replays where they showed a different angle? Because at least from where I was sitting, it looked like those knees were hitting the shoulder. I didn't see any connection with the head.
I think the first one, the one that I saw, it hit the shoulder. That second one definitely, to me, hit him in the head. But yeah, I think if I remember right, later it was either later in the second round or he might have done it again in the third round. But he had kneed him, but I think it was more of the arm shoulder area this time.
Mm-hmm.
But Choi's hand was on the ground, but his whole body was up, so there wasn't anything said. So I guess because of the whole different commissions, different rules or whatever, I guess that's not completely down when you have your hand over in Russia, as opposed to fighting in Vegas or New York or something like that.
That's one of the questions that I was going to ask you was, do we know if they had adopted the new rules, or are they still going off of the old rules?
From what I saw in that fight, looked like they were kind of going off of old rules. So, I mean, I guess in order to be considered down, you had to have at least your knee in one hand, or knee in some other upper body part.
So like you could
As
have like a
opposed to
knee and a
here.
nose, and you're cool.
Yeah, pretty much. But if your nose is on the ground, you're dead, pretty much.
Yeah. So don't ever
You-
put your nose on the ground. You hear that? You put your nose on the ground, you're just dead. You're dead.
well, I mean, you could have been dropped on your face, or whatever.
What if there was something that smelled delicious on the floor? You just smell and you're dead? You just that smells like
I don't know.
well, I
dude.
went to sleep. I didn't die. I don't know why I did that, but okay.
I don't know, man. That's a lot of human you're smelling down there. So I don't know.
Whoa. Whoa. All right, I think we need to move on from this conversation.
I think so too. We're gonna take a wrong turn somewhere.
But Evliov gets the unanimous decision. I guess he used to fight at bantamweight and makes his UFC debut at featherweight. That's pretty interesting. Usually guys are fighting at a lower weight class.
Yeah.
So either way, he still looked great. I think they got to figure out a way to get these rules to be more clear cut, and they also have to, like, once they're like, okay, these are the rules, do you understand them? In the back, they have to do this in the back, right? Like,
Yeah.
I fought amateur, and we had a fighter meeting, and if you understood the rules, like, basically if you broke them, it was your fucking fault. They're gonna do whatever they gotta do after that. So if I used an elbow, which I don't think we were allowed to use the elbows in the amateur, like if I were to use an elbow, they would take a point because they already warned me in the back. So I fucking can't stand this, hey, this is your last warning. Like, no, I explained to you everything in the back, and I asked you if you understood. You said yes. So that, to me, already just these warnings should fucking go away. Right?
Yeah. I mean, of course. I mean, there's a reason why you have a meeting in the back before you go out there, because if you don't have that meeting, then you're gonna have the ref during the introductions where it's loud as shit, trying to say, okay, you can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. You're not gonna fucking hear while you're out there. So I mean, having the meeting in the back where it's kind of, I mean, you're still gonna be loud, but you're still gonna be.
Well, no,
able
they
to
do
hear
these,
what's going on.
Jonathan. They do these like before people even start arriving, because you have to go in and like check in your room or whatever, your locker room where you do your warm ups and stuff. They do fighter meetings in there, so there's no distractions.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
see,
no
I'm
distractions.
still new to all that. So
Well, and
yeah,
see, that's the
holy
thing.
shit,
It's
yeah,
like,
that's
okay,
the thing.
for me, it's like they've already agreed they understand the rules. And what really fucking pisses me off, especially when they fight like in the United States or Brazil, and it's somebody from a foreign country, I was unsure, I did not know. Like, no, you fucking know. It's translated to you in the fucking back. And these
Yeah.
fucking refs are so fucking, like, they really do. I've heard so many people go on record saying that that's like the most fucking bullshit, hardest, toughest job that you could ever fucking do in the sport of mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Because everything you do, it's on the fucking fly. You have to make a decision right fucking then and there. And sometimes you make the wrong fucking call. But as far as all of these fucking eye pokes, groin strikes. Now, groin strikes I can kind of understand, because if somebody's moving, I mean, that's an accident. Those things can happen. Okay?
Yeah.
Because if you just say, hey, well, I'm not going to give any warnings, the first nut shot, I'm going to take a point. Well, now you're going to run out of kicks. Nobody's going to throw kicks anymore. So you can't really, like, within reason. Eye pokes, no warnings. Eye pokes, you poke them once, nah. Okay? Fence grabbing. You grab the fence once, nah, that's a point. The knees to the grounded opponent, however the fucking rules state it, you do it once, nah, point. You know what I mean? It's just all those things. It's like you already know. Because if
I mean, like if you like really, go into, making the decision like all the time, and you're known for that. People when they fight and you're their ref, they're gonna understand, like, okay, this dude means fucking business. Like if I poke somebody in the eye, knowing that I have to keep my hands closed at all times if I'm, no matter what I'm doing, then, if I get a point taken away, then that's on me. I can't sit there and, be a little bitch about it and, oh, I didn't understand. It's like, yeah, like you said, they understand. I think it's just a cop out when they say, oh, I didn't understand. I'm sorry. It's like, but if the referee is known for, oh, you poked him, point. Fence grab, yeah, you're getting a point. And that'll make it to where maybe even just having that one ref, maybe that'll make everybody's fight plans change, or maybe they'll think a little bit more before they actually, do something illegal.
Well, and I kind of like how you put it. If the refs started being more aggressive, the refs themselves would be making the change.
Exactly.
They would be forcing other fighters to, oh shit, okay, so if I grab the fence like at all, so I need to train not grabbing the fence. Hey, fucking shove me up against this fence and take me down a fucking million times a day. And if I grab the fence, somebody with a BB gun, just shoot me. Or somebody stand there with a ruler and smack the shit out of my hand. So I just don't do it. But that's the thing. Like, there's more fighters that don't do it than fighters that do it. So I don't know. And we got to move on because I could go about fucking.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think we both could.
Got me all fired up, man. Fucking ready to go. Where was that fucking Atlanta ref? I don't know. I'm telling you, man. That guy was.
No, I know, right?
Oh, hey, yo, that's a point. I like that guy. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Moving on. Let's go to the main card here. You had Krzysztof Jotko taking on Alan Amedovski.
Yep.
Am I saying that right?
Yes, you are.
It sounds like I'm saying it right, but who the fuck knows? Krzysztof Jotko coming off of, I think, like 3 losses in a row. He was in the top 10 like a couple years ago and hit a string of losses and was contemplating leaving the sport. He starts seeing the head doctor and recovers injuries for a while, and then comes back and, in my opinion, probably looked better than ever.
He looked really good.
A full performance. I mean, you can go out there and smoke somebody in like fucking 10 seconds, and everybody's like, oh my God, he's back. But until you see somebody go through a full 3 rounds, that's how I judge a fighter. Like these, who is it? What's that big dude's name? Francis Ngannou?
Yeah.
Like, he's running through people, right? He's just fucking smoking them in like fucking less than a round. And while that is exciting, and I'm not saying that I'm not a fan of Francis Ngannou, but it's like, I want to see you tested. I want to see what kind of fighter you are. Because I'm not just a fan of fights. Okay? I'm a fan of fighters. Like true fighters. So, Krzysztof Jotko just made me a fan today because I didn't get to watch it like you yesterday. I was over there watching Bisque Olympic. By the way, unfollow him. It was on his shirt, so I'm not throwing shade his way. I'm just telling you what he told me. Unfollow him. Anyway. Like anybody follows him anyway. Shots fired. Whoops. Again.
I think you are going to get that fight that you wanted.
I would fight a 50-year-old Fred Durst. I would do it in a cage. Look, if he's down, let's do it. Let's do it.
I'll film it and everything.
No. We'll do it like at a WFF or an LFA or something like that.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. I'm down. Somebody get in contact with Fred Durst and see if he's down to fight. I'd love to scrap Fred Durst. And I'm not even like saying I'd win. I probably win. But I'm just saying I'd do that shit. That sounds fun as fuck. Anyway, I got to stop picking on old guys. Roxanne, were we done with Krzysztof Jotko? He looked good. He got the decision win. Pretty dominant by the scorecards, it looks like 30-25s, 26s all across the board.
Yeah, well, once he got him to the ground, dude, I don't think there was really anything that Amedovski could do.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
no
the
answer,
first
right?
round. The first round, it was kind of a little back and forth, but I think maybe after the second or third, well, after 2 or 3 minutes went by, then it was just all Jotko
Now,
on the
was this
ground.
the fight where there was a spinning back elbow?
Yes, there was,
That
and
shit looked dope.
that was amazing. Like I jumped out of my seat. I was like, "What the fuck? That was amazing!"
Yeah, but that just shows you that Amadovsky's tough, man. Because that landed clean, and he took a knee for a second, but he lasted all 3 rounds. I mean, that was fucking awesome.
Hmm.
Okay, and then my favorite fight of the evening, Roxanne Marferi defeats Antonina Shevchenko. Now, the Shevchenko sisters, I think, are the first two sisters to compete in the UFC. And there was a lot of hype on this Antonina. I think she was like a Muay Thai champion or fighter at least, with a really respectable record. Came into the UFC off of Dana White's Contender Series. I believe before she took this L, she was 7-0, so she was an undefeated, highly touted prospect. Like I said, her sister's the fucking champ at 125 pounds, and this is the division that they were fighting in.
Hmm.
Now, look, this is Roxanne has beat some badass chicks in mixed martial arts, bro. She's also lost a lot of fights to some badass chicks too. Okay, so Antonina need not be sad about this loss, but me so happy Roxanne won. That's my little nerd right there. That's my nerd. She's dope, dude. Like, just as a person, she's awesome. I've chatted with her a couple times on the interwebs. She's just a cool person, man. She knows Japanese. I think she like was a school teacher in Japan. She's a fan of Dragon Ball Z, and she'll kick your ass. Like, how cool can one chick get?
She could be her own Dragon Ball Z fighter if she wanted to.
Sometimes she is. I think she elevated herself in this fight, though.
Yeah,
The game plan was to get in her fucking face and just the pressure. I think that was the pressure and the takedowns is definitely something that I see that they were working on. Her hands didn't look too bad either, bro.
yeah.
She was
And
tagging Antonina.
yeah, she was. And then to complement those strikes, dude. If I counted right, she went for a takedown 5 times, and she took her down all 5 times. So she went
She went
five for 5.
five.
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah. So I was like, oh damn.
Oh, I apologize for your eardrums, but that is what's up. Those are some fight stats right there, brought to you by Crazy J from HeadKick Audio. What is up,
I
man?
do what I can.
Hey, man, you keep that shit up, bro. You keep that shit up. Anyways, Roxanne, look, she took some damage. Okay, she took some shots. It's not like she, just completely ran through this girl. No, she got hurt. She was in a fucking fight. This was a fight.
Yeah, it was.
And like I said, in my opinion, it's not just because I'm all up on Roxanne's nuts, but bro, this should have been the fight of the night. I don't understand it. This fight was awesome. It was all over the place.
Yeah, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but
Fight me.
I believe if I understand correctly, I guess this is first UFC women fighting on a card or something like that for the UFC in Russia or something like that. I think is
So
what I heard.
in Russia,
Yeah, so in Russia, yeah, I believe this was the first.
the first sanctioned female fight in Russia
Yes,
for MMA?
I believe so. Yeah, well, for the UFC at least.
Damn. Well, look into that, and let's confirm that by the end of today's episode.
Yeah, I will look into that, and I'll post it on Twitter when I find that out.
Okay. Well, you're gonna post it on Twitter. You're gonna have to wait till tomorrow, because this episode airs. We got to have some sort of anticipation, right? So you're gonna have to post it like tomorrow after we upload the show, or like Tuesday or something.
I can do that.
So we're just gonna fuck with you all the way, you crazy listeners of this so-called podcast. Anyways, if that's true, that is fucking awesome because it was a great fight. I was super stoked and I was like biting my nails the whole time because Antonina, she is not a fucking joke on the feet, dude.
Yeah, no, those strikes she was throwing were really, really calculated. It looked like she was, she was trying to maybe counter, so she was kind of baiting her in, letting Roxanne throw some stuff, and then she was just countering it. And when she was countering, they were hitting pretty good too.
Yeah, but both chicks are very, very tough. Like I said, if I was fighting either of these girls, I'd probably be getting my ass kicked and going crying like a little girl. Because, I mean, just, they were both throwing heat. I mean, Roxanne, her hands look better than ever. And I love her ground and pound, man. She's just going to try and elbow the poop out of you.
Yeah.
And yes, I said elbow the poop out of you. Like I said, it was a very fun fight. I'm really glad she got the win, but where the fuck were the judges on this one, dude? I do not understand. A split decision? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a 30-26, but it was definitely a 30-27. She took every single fucking round.
Yeah, I think the only thing that they probably saw was maybe in the third round when Antonina kind of picked it up a little bit, and it was maybe a little bit more aggressive. But I still don't see that even making it a split decision.
Did you have Antonina taking at least one round?
I actually did.
Really?
But I still give the fight to Roxanne because she was doing more work. She was 5 for 5 for takedowns. So she would have kind of already won alone on the takedown. At least in my opinion.
Do we have the fight stats? I don't think we do. I think we need to do a better job of this, because when we're gonna get into this you think she won a round, like I don't even think so, man. Because I think Roxanne outlanded her on foot strikes, right? Not like kicks, but while they're on the feet. And she definitely outlanded her on the ground. You're saying she went 5 for 5 for takedowns. And even when Antonina would shift the fight in her favor, right? Well, there goes a sweep. There goes a switch. There goes something. Roxanne always did something to get it back to where she wanted the fight to be. I don't understand this fucking split call, but we gotta fucking move on because I could talk about this fight all day. Really, I could, and we're just gonna go ahead and go back up the card. This was a fight you had your eye on. Sergey Pavlovich knocking out Marcelo Gom.
Yeah, me being a big dude myself, even though I'm really not in shape.
You're A-shape, remember. Don't ever forget that.
I'm A-shape, just not the right shape. But so I would be lumped in with these big boys, these heavyweights. So I've got a big heart for the heavyweight division. But yeah, I mean, it was just quick, straight to the point. They both came out. They were both hitting really hard. Sergey obviously had the faster hands, and just boom, one hit got him, and that's all it took. And these heavyweights, that's all it normally takes.
Damn, you took the words right out of my mouth.
It's whether it's a lucky punch or whether it's a calculated move. A fucking knockout's a knockout, man, and he hit him right square on the chin. Boom.
Yeah, it was that last uppercut in that combination that he threw that put him out.
Yeah.
And he sat him down. That dude said, and just fucking landed on his ass. Out.
He said night night before he hit the ground, dude.
I don't think he got a chance to say night night. Oh man, that was fucking cool. So since you were so interested in this fight, Sergey is now 1-1 in the UFC, right? he's got the win over Marcelo Gom, and he lost to this evening's headliner, Alistair Overeem. Okay? Now,
Mhm.
you can go ahead and ask me who I want Roxy to fight after we're done covering this card, because I think I have an idea. But what do you do with Sergey?
Uh,
Because I know
I
what I would do with him, but I don't think it's even ever going to happen. Well, not
well,
like ever, but I don't think that it's just the fight to make.
yeah. I'm not too sure. I mean, I've got to get a little bit more familiar with the heavyweight division. Um, but because I mean, I only know like the big guys, you know, like your Overeems or your Lesners or your Mark Hunts and stuff like that. Um, I mean,
Only one of those fighters is currently fighting in the UFC, by the way. I
yeah,
don't think the Lesnar deal has come through yet, or if it
no,
ever
I
even
don't think
will.
so, but I think it could. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure like how the fight makings work, but
Did you
I
call
would
them
like to
Matt
see
makings?
match makings.
I was like, who the
Uh,
fuck is Matt?
I could see Sergey going toe to toe with Mark Hunt maybe.
Mark Hunt not in the UFC anymore.
Oh, he's not.
No,
See
I
that?
think he fought out his contract and said deuces.
We'll bring him back. I'd like to see that fight. I think it'll be a pretty good fight.
Dude, Mark Hunt against anybody's a good fight, except for Big Pretty. That was kind of a boring fight. Um, okay, so what I would do with him, right, is I'd say, look, just take another fight, whoever the fuck it is, and then you hope Overeem loses, right? Because
Hmm.
Overeem just seems like the type of heavyweight that just ain't gonna fucking go away ever. And you keep producing fights like in our headliner, then he's always gonna have a job, right?
Yeah.
So you hope that he sticks around long enough for you to avenge your loss, right? So
Hmm.
you take this Sergey Pavlovich, who's now I think 13-1, right? Overall, his only loss
Yep.
to Alistair Overeem.
Yep.
Overeem's a one-time title challenger in the UFC. He held a Strikeforce belt, uh, fucking all kinds of other fucking belts. Okay, he's like one of those belt collectors, right? He's been around forever. He's got belts from everywhere. So we'll just go ahead and say that he's got belts, right? But it's Pavlovich's only loss. So maybe win one more, hope Reem loses, and then bang, you can go and avenge that loss. Because
Oh.
I'll tell you what, the first time when they first met, right, Alistair and Pavlovich, uh,
Uh-huh.
Pavlovich was making his debut, and you're making your debut against Alistair Overeem when nobody knows who the fuck you are, and
Holy
everybody knows who
shit.
Overeem is. Okay? I think the dude got hit by those fucking bright ass lights and was like, holy shit, and just got mauled by the more experienced. I won't say the better fighter, but I'll say the more experienced fighter.
Yeah.
I think Overeem in your debut is bullshit. Okay? I don't care who the fuck you are. If you're making your UFC debut, you should not have to fight Alistair Overeem. Not that I think Overeem's the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread, but goddamn, he's got experience. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
So, but now Sergey comes in, right? And looks fucking just like a world beater.
Yeah. He looked really, really good in this fight.
Fucking
I can at
smashed
least
the
say
dude.
that.
He smashes the dude in like, what, a little over a minute?
Yeah. Minute 6.
Yeah, and just you could see in his eyes, kill, 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 right? So that's what I'm saying. So maybe he fights like Tibura or who was the guy that Tibura fought? Shamil.
Oh, Shamil. Yeah.
I think you give him something like that. Keep him, for the international cards because he's really popular, across the pond. I think he's
Yeah.
from he's Russian or Polish, right? So
Yeah.
keep him over there for those cards because he says he wants to take a break anyway. Let him take a break, fine. Whatever. The next
Yeah.
time you go over there, like I think they're going to like Abu Dhabi for Poirier Khabib. Is that his name? I don't even fucking remember.
Oh yeah, that's
All these
right.
fucking
Yeah.
names got me all fucked up. Anyways, have Sergey stay over there and fight one of these other guys. One of these other international guys. Like I said, he's really popular over there. He's a fucking hit. He was headlining cards for I think it was like KSW or Cage Warriors or something like that. So I'm not really sure on the organization. Again, I don't have my notes in front of me because I never do. Ever. So keep him over there, and like I said, Overeem is also another international guy. He's from Holland or
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. There you go. Well, isn't Amsterdam in Holland?
Nope, it's in the Netherlands, my friend.
Ooh. Well, fuck. All right. Well, take me to school. 'Cause I won't ever go to church.
Well, we know what our opinions are about Sergey. What would it be for Roxanne?
What would my plans be for Roxanne?
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, I love me some Roxy. I really do. I think she's a phenomenal fighter. And she's just getting better. I think she's like 35. So she's not exactly young. She's a veteran. She's been around forever, and she's fought the who's who. Okay?
Yeah.
I think you take a girl like her and her story, right? Because she's got a fucking story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I wouldn't say she's got like a legendary career, but she's definitely a pioneer of women's MMA, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give her the baddest motherfucker you can at 125 pounds, and then if she gets that, you give her the title. Oh shit, I hit the microphone. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, I had to get some water in my body. Anyway, so not that 125 has very many like world beaters. I think Valentina kind of she's head and shoulders above the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if I somehow manage, and see, it really sucks because I know I'm all over the place, right? Joanne and Modafferi, Joanne Calderwood, sorry, they're training partners, and they're both like neck and neck in the 125-pound women's division. So they're jockeying for position. So unfortunately, I think that's the girl you got to go through, or you just take the loser of the title fight, right?
Yeah.
You either let JoJo go and fight for the title, and you take another fight, or you two fight each other for a number one contender bout, and I could definitely see that. Both girls are badass, and that's what I would do. I would have Roxanne take one more fight, and if she wins that fight, let her fight for the belt. I think she's fucking earned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you will not find a nicer person, male, female, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay? Roxanne is just good people. She's a good person. She's solid. She's fucking solid. So that's just what I would do. You know what I mean? See, I kind of sort of had a plan, but when you had me break it down, it just got kind of sad because it involves her fighting her training partner, and I don't know how she feels about that because she's too.
But you know what? Some of the best fights could be between the training partners. You train, every day or whatever, but you gotta find out who's better. You know what I mean?
This is very true. It's a good thing you're a heavyweight and I'm, a middleweight, right? Then we don't ever have to fight each other for no championship belt for millions of dollars. That's right. We're on that level.
We better be. Damn it.
Okay. In the co-headliner, you had Islam Makhachev defeat Arman. How do you say his last name?
I want to say it's Sarukian, but I'm going to say Hadouken just because it makes it sound cooler.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and make sure that we get permission from Dan Tom because I think that's his deal. But
well, since Hadouken would be his, then I'll say it's like that uppercut thing that they do, the Shoryuken. That'll be his name.
So that's two different moves? The Hadouken and Soryuken?
Yeah, the Hadouken is the fireball, and then the Soryuken is that crazy fucking uppercut.
Well, this kind of looks more like a Soryuken.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it.
Okay, so we'll just hope that Dan Toms is the Hadouken. And you see, for the longest time, this is how fucking stupid I am. I thought he was saying, "How do you do, Ken?" I thought he was asking a question. This is how, dude, if you, like, go back into my fucking childhood and what I thought things were versus what they actually were, you would think I was fucking retarded. Some of these things that I thought, wow. So, how do you do, Ken? Yeah, the fireball to the face and Ken's dead, right? Fuck me. Anyway, Islam Makhachev takes a unanimous decision. It looks pretty clear cut and dry. This was the undefeated guy, right? Was he undefeated? The Armin?
Armin or Islam?
No. Armin. Was Armin undefeated before this fight? No, 13-1. Oh, okay, I remember this guy. And this fight, was it lightweight?
Yes.
He was the Armenian, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Oh, is this Islam Makhachev? That's who we fought, right?
Yes.
Islam Makhachev is the guy that just looks like a fucking serial killer, like a Russian serial killer. He's got those kill eyes, like he would kill you for fun.
Yes.
Yeah, see, that dude just has serial killer written all over his face, which is perfect for the fight game. It's just absolutely perfect. Because if that dude was just looking at me, I would probably fucking run. Because he's got a crazy face. Anyways, excuse me. Clear cut, dry, unanimous decision. And then in the headliner, you had Alexei Olenek getting... He got smashed. He got fucking smashed.
Oh, yeah.
Not without putting up a fight, though. I think... he took the fight on like 18 days notice, so I don't think he was going 5 rounds. I really don't.
Yeah, I thought that was actually kind of crazy taking this fight on such short notice. But I mean, you know, they call you up and say, "Hey, you want to fight? What are you gonna do?" Tell them no.
Especially in your home country. Olenek's Russian.
I know, right? Shit.
How many opportunities are you gonna get to headline a UFC card in some other land, Russia? I hope the motherland is in some other country. I hope the motherland is in some other country, because if it is, I probably just offended a bunch of Russians. Is it the motherland? Am I right?
No, they call it Mother Russia.
Oh, I knew there was a mom in there somewhere. Come on. Do I at least get an A for effort? Don't kill me, Russia.
Yeah, you get an A for effort, my friend.
Yeah, I slayed all of their fucking names. I got what they call their country wrong, and I couldn't remember their fucking champion's name. Russia's gonna fucking kill me. And you know who they're gonna send? Islam Makhachev. He's gonna come over here with his fucking with his serial killer eyes. No, he's not gonna fight me. He's just gonna stare at me to death, and I'm gonna die. Jesus. Oh man. What is the Ream's real nickname?
What's Overeem's nickname?
Yeah, what's his real nickname? Do you know?
The Demolition Man.
That's right. It's not the Ream. It's not the Ream. It's the Demolition Man. How the fuck did I not even know that? I mean, I knew it, but like, fuck. I always call him the Ream, right?
That's what I thought it was too. And then I saw that they call him the Demolition Man. And I was like, after this fight, I can kind of see.
Yes, dude, he looked destructive, and he was kind of okay. Olenek was taking it to him, right? But it kind of looked like Overeem was going to kind of let him punch himself out, because he got tagged a little bit, right? And then he would just cover up and kind of, just peek through his guard and see what was going on. And then, he was taking a lot of damage to the body. And it seemed like Olenek was doing that on purpose. I'm going to put the pressure on him. I'm going to go to the body a lot, right? Because
Yeah,
I know I can't go 5. I make sure this guy can't go 5 either, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
seems like a
he
good
was
game
landing
plan.
those heavy body shots.
Dude, they were fucking really heavy. And then Overeem said, "Have you met my niece, sir?"
Yeah, those knees. Oh god, they were disgusting.
I was not expecting that adjective. What the fuck? Those knees were disgusting. Like, oh shit. Do they have like
Uh,
gangrene or no? They fucking put him out, bro.
yeah, oh, I can't even say anything else to describe it. But god damn,
Those knees were disgusting.
they're disgusting.
That's great. I love that. Anyways, Overeem now on a 2-fight winning streak. Holy shit. And he wants his original opponent, which I think is what, Alexander Volkov?
Yeah.
Okay, so he wants his original opponent, and I like that. And Olenek, you're old, bro, but you still got some fucking fight. He still got some fight, and I think him taking the fight on 18 days' notice, the UFC is probably going to give him something nice in return for that. I'm hoping, anyway. Come on, UFC, get your shit together.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now Russia and the UFC are going to come fight me? Jesus. Now all I got to do is badmouth like Joe Rogan or something like that, and then I'll just fucking have everybody. Because what the fuck is Ariel Helwani going to do? I'm going to just badmouth him all day.
Shit, I'm only an hour and a half away from you, but I'll get there as quick as I can to help you out, bro.
I'll be dead by the time you get here. And that's
Like,
only because fucking Islam Makhachev is going to get here before everybody. Khabib's going to say, "You take jet. You killed stupid American." And then I'm dead. I'm just dead because he's going to get here before everybody. But nah, I don't even know Ariel Helwani. And I don't follow him, so I don't even know if he's a bad dude. So I'm just throwing shade everywhere. Just throwing shade. But it's like unwarranted and unnecessary. So I'm probably just going to take all that shade and throw it in my backyard and maybe go take a nap or something. I don't know. I don't have any problems with any of these people. I'm just talking shit. Except for Fred Durst. Believe you me. I would fight Fred Durst. I might even do it for free. Or we could do it for charity.
I'm down for charity.
Dude, I would fight anybody for charity. Just make sure they don't kill me.
Well, now that we've gone over the main card, did you want to talk about anything else that's upcoming before we wrap this show up?
Yeah, real quickly, because I don't want everybody sticking around for like 2 hours of fucking nonsense from me and you, because that would just be unforgivable. So next weekend, it looks like we're going to be pretty fucking busy, right?
Oh, yeah.
What do we got?
Friday on Access TV, it looks like we have LFA 64.
I love me some fucking LFA, bro. I love me some LFA. And the commentary on that shit's good, too. Shout out to Pat Miletich and Ron Crook. Pat Miletich, Conspiracy Farm. Go check that shit out. Anyway, that was like a fucking shameless plug for him, huh?
Shameless plug.
Yeah, how you like that? The Conspiracy Farm. And I think they're like at the Conspiracy Farm 1 or something like that. Check it out. I just winked. You couldn't see it, so I'm telling you. Access TV, LFA, what is this, 63? 64?
64.
64, okay. Harvey Park. This dude's a fucking little badass. Versus DeMarcus Jackson?
Jackson, yep.
And this is for a title?
For the vacant lightweight title.
Woo!
So it's going to be a good fucking fight.
Okay, you got some names on there. Bobby Lee versus Jordan Larson. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, this looks good. I like this. And then you got Joe Gigliotti. Did I say that right? And he sounds American.
Yeah.
I couldn't even pronounce that. Versus Jason Jackson. I have a buddy named Jason Jackson, right?
Well, yeah, but I don't think he would be a fighter though.
He's too much of a fucking lover.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's LFA 64 from Sioux Falls, Dakota. And that's on Access TV. I think it's like channel 340 if you have DirecTV. If you don't have DirecTV, figure it out yourself, because I don't. That's what I got, right? Okay, and
Yep.
then what else we got? I think I hit the damn thing. Sorry.
Uh, I believe
Ooh,
Saturday we have
Bellator. You got two titles on
Bellator
that.
220.
You got two title fights on this card. Okay, so check this out. Bellator is running a welterweight Grand Prix, but the welterweight champion is going through the Grand Prix, and every time he has to fight, his belt is up for grabs. So if he loses in the
Oh,
tournament, he also loses his fucking belt.
shit. That doesn't give you more incentive to fucking fight your ass off.
Dude,
Damn.
Bellator, for that reason right there, that's fucking gangster, bro. Like, hey, we're going to do a welterweight Grand Prix, and the fucking champ is going to be in there, and he's going to have to defend his shit every time. Like, he doesn't just get to compete, and then, if he loses, oh, well, I'll just fight the winner of the tournament. Ha ha. No, every time you go in there, you could lose your shit. That's fucking gangster. And the winner of the tournament, 50 Cent says, hey, yo, how's a cool million sound?
Shit.
Dude, Bellator is doing some fucking cool things, man. Um,
God,
so,
that preliminary card though is fucking stacked. There's so many fights.
well, they do that shit on purpose. Those fights usually end fairly quickly, and they do
Oh,
like
really?
pre and post limbs. So if they like don't have enough time, I think they just throw them after the main card. Yeah, Bellator don't give
Uh,
no fucks, and this is actually a great way to find superstars. It,
yeah.
you know, so and what they'll do is they'll take like a name or two that's familiar, like maybe a fighter that used to do really well in Bellator, and maybe now he's kind of at a kind of a slump. So they'll throw him on the prelims so that people will tune in to like wherever they stream it. Like sometimes it's the Zone, sometimes it's the MMA Junkie website. So,
hmm
but anyways, Bellator 220, it's on DAZN. Well, it's a good thing I pay for that. Okay, and this is in San Jose, California. In your main event, you have Rory McDonald versus John Fitch. This is I think like welterweight, a quarterfinal, right?
Yep.
And the Grand Prix, again, Rory McDonald is the champ, so his belt is up for grabs in this fight. He's fighting John Fitch, both former UFC fighters, both former UFC title challengers. Never got the gold there. Fitch went the route of like World Series of Fighting or PFL. I don't know if he ever fought for PFL. I don't think so. But he went with like World Series of Fighting, and then now he's in Bellator.
Yeah.
And then in your co-main event for the women's flyweight title, you have Lima Lay McFarlane versus Vida Arteaga. Also on the card, this is not a bad card, bro. Phil Davis versus Liam McGeary. I think this is a
Mm.
deuce. This is the second time they fought. Adam Piccolotti versus Benson Henderson. That's a dope fight. And then Gaston Bolanos. Bro. He's a Muay Thai guy, right? So you look at his record and you see 2-1. What the fuck is Bellator even thinking putting him on the main card? Dude is fucking exciting. Oh man. Pat Miletich is one of Pat Miletich's favorite fighters to watch. Just
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I hit the mic again. I'm so sorry. Okay, and what else we got? Because I know we got something else, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Same weekend, the same day to be exact.
Okay, so this is in Sunrise, Florida. So I'm assuming it's like fucking Miami or something.
Sunrise, Florida. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's in Miami.
Yeah. It could. Well,
I don't know where Sunrise is.
it might be around the Miami area. At least that's what it sounds like.
South
Given the name.
Florida. In South Florida, Ronaldo Jacare. Souza versus Jack. Is his nickname not the Ripper? His nickname
Not
should
sure.
be the fucking Ripper. I think it's shit. What are the Jester? I think he's the Jester.
His nickname is the Joker.
The Joker. Okay. It should be Jack the Ripper Hermanson. This dude is fucking nuts. He just fought David Branch like last week or the week before and tapped him out. And now he's fucking fighting Jacare. Yeah, don't go to the floor, bro. Just keep it on the feet and hope to God you knock this guy out. And then Greg Hardy returns. Oh no. Who's he fighting? Dmitry Smolyakov? All right.
Yep.
Oh, I was just thinking about Mike Perry. I hope he's got like his fucking rooster hair. That sounded really fucking weird. That sounded a lot less gay in my head. Okay. Well, he's fighting Alex Cowboy Oliveira. Sorry, but there's only one cowboy, and that's Donald Cerrone. That's why he doesn't call himself DC. Because there's only one DC, and that's Daniel Cormier.
True.
Right? Okay. Anyways, Mike Perry versus Alex Oliveira. There ain't no loser there, buddy. You know who the winner is? The fucking fans. We win.
That's right.
Ion Cutelaba. This dude, his fucking bicep is the size of my waist. This dude's a fucking beast. And he's fighting Glover Teixeira. They put this fight together a couple times, I think, in the past. And one guy would get hurt, and then, oh, look, just under that, I had to stop myself. John Lineker versus Corey Sandhagen. Fuck, that's a badass fight. Thomas Giffords versus Roosevelt Roberts. A guy who's 0-0-0? That can't be right.
Yeah, that's weird. Why would you put... Unless he was... Well, no, because he would still have a record if he was from somewhere else, right?
Yes, somewhere else.
All right, so it looks like he's got one. For some reason, they just didn't update.
So he's 1-0?
Yeah, he fought Wade Johnson in Legacy FC F34. He won by TKO punches.
Okay, well
let's he's at least 1-0.
Okay, well let's keep an eye on that shit. All right, go back for me real quick. Your prelims for Jacare versus Hermanson. Oh, sweet! Ben Saunders is still fighting. Dope. That's the other killer bee. I think Brandon Davis. He gets a pass because he just kind of looks like a smaller Ben Saunders with hair.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben Saunders is the original killer bee, so put some respect on that. Wow, I love this. I love that the UFC is keeping guys that just have losing streaks but are still exciting. Like, look, Ben Saunders. That record of his Takeshi Sato, that can't be right either. Ben Saunders.
Yeah.
Andrei Arlovsky.
Yeah, I remember watching him fight like back in the day when I was trying to keep up with it, and then I got sidetracked by video games.
Dude, Diego Lima, Court McGee, that's a fucking barn burner. Those two dudes fucking put a fucking... That's going to be a high-paced fight. Jody Escobar, I know I jumped to the fucking early prelim, sorry. Jody Escobar versus Angela Hill. Angie Hill is a fucking firecracker on the feet. Check her out. Okay, Jim Miller versus Jason Gonzalez. Jim Miller's been around for a long fucking time. And he fought forever with Lyme disease. Can you believe that shit?
Holy shit.
Yeah, Jim Miller's a fucking tough son of a bitch. Mike Davis, Gilbert Burns, Virna Jandiroba versus Carla Esparza. Dude. Okay, sign me the fuck up. I'm interested.
Hell yeah. Man, these are going to be some awesome fucking fights this weekend.
All right. Is there anything else on next weekend's agenda?
Not that I know of. Looks like, I mean, shit, we're already going to be pretty busy watching those fights anyway. I don't think we can fit
Let's not add any more in there.
in.
But yeah, let me give a shout out to Jonathan Crazy J Davis for producing this episode while we are doing it. And let me also get a shout out to the quality for the audio tech guy, me. I think everything sounds great on my end. So Jonathan is actually in Sierra Vista, so he's like an hour and a half away. Usually we do this show together, but since, driving to and from my house once a week is kind of a pain in the ass, I think we're going to stick to mostly pay-per-views unless he gets a wild hair up his ass and wants to come fucking hang out with his boy.
Like this weekend?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I hit the fucking mic again. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? We'll be in Tucson. So, yeah, shout out to Crazy J for producing this episode from home. Thank you very much for that, sir.
Well, you're very welcome.
And like I said, we sound good, so Can't complain there. So that means I'm kicking ass, you're kicking ass, and the producer got to take the fucking week off. Can I have that job? Actually, no, because
There's no off day for me. Also, I'll be up there in Tucson, but everybody can catch us at our social media accounts. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everything. HeadKick Audio. We might have some actual handle names, but if you just type in HeadKick Audio, all one word, we'll pop up.
Or he's saying all one word is HeadKick. HeadKick is one word, right? Or do you just do HeadKick Audio as one word and we pop up?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That shows you how much I know how to fucking use social media.
Well, it shows you how much I know. I don't know because I fucking made it all one word instead of spacing it out like a normal person. But you can catch us there. We also do a radio show on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Arizona time, because we don't give two shits about time zones, I guess. And
yeah, that always bites me in the ass. Thank you.
The name is Dick and Jay's Metal Corner. Play on words. You got to see it spelled out. It's fucking funny. I love it. Anything else you want to add there?
Yeah. So again, after we're done bullshitting, we're gonna have Dan Tom's interview, and he's got a podcast. It's called the Protect Your Neck Podcast. I think it's available on iTunes. If you just throw it in fucking Google, that's how I find it. I'm also a subscriber, so please, if you listen to our show, go subscribe to his if you like it. The dude is a one-man show. Hoping that he has me on soon, because I'd love to co-host an episode of his show. The dude's just fucking he's entertaining, and he does it by himself. I need a partner, and he doesn't. So go give his podcast a listen. Like I said, if you like it, subscribe. If you like us, subscribe. Like us, follow us. I'm at Steven Frontroth. He's at JGD something, whatever. What is your shit?
My handle is chaotic JGD 1987.
Okay, that was a mouthful. Dan Tom is at Dan Tom MMA. I don't know if there's an underscore between Tom and MMA, but look him up. He's a good follow. Again, check him out. That's all we got, bruv. So we'll fucking see you guys next week. And unfortunately, we made you listen to a half an hour of our bullshit anyway. I apologize. Jonathan, what are we going to do, man?
HeadKick Audio.
Out.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Dan?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Apologies on that. My phone accidentally went on silent.
Hey, no worries. Let me bring in the co-host real quick. Give me a second.
All good.
All right, can everybody hear each other?
I hope so. What's up?
Yep, I can hear both you guys.
All right, perfect. It sounds like we're not going to have any technical difficulties this time.
There we go.
All right, so Dan Tom, he's got his own podcast, the Protect Your Neck Podcast. He's also a co-host. What are you, Mondays and Fridays now on MMA Junkie?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then what else you got going on?
Just the usual breakdowns and analysis pieces up at MMAJunkie.com, and that's about it right now. Just focusing on that, the podcast, and of course, like you said, MMA Junkie Radio, the radio show on Sirius. So just been grinding, man.
All right, and they just switched channels. What channel are they on now?
Yeah, we just changed. It's Fight Nation 93, but we're gonna do a channel change coming up next week. I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's gonna be Fight Nation, but it's gonna be like 128 or something like that. But they're gonna be pumping promos and whatnot, so everybody gets directed in the right way. But iTunes seems to still be one of the more popular ways to listen to MMA Junkie Radio for the last 10 years. So that's always a good go-to.
All right, cool. And I actually kind of enjoy the time switch that you guys went through. You guys used to be in the morning, and now you guys are in the evenings?
Yeah, it was a big switch, but a lot of people actually seem to be digging it. So
All right, cool, man. Well, I'm thankful that we were able to coordinate this and get this interview done. So thank you for working with us. And again, me with the stupid time zones. I don't know what the hell it is about these things, but they always fucking get me.
Oh, no worries, Steve. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's not every day you get an analyst fucking legend to come on a baby podcast. So this is pretty fucking cool. Thank you very much.
I don't know about that, man. I got a baby podcast myself, and you're too kind on that first part. But again, I appreciate it, guys. It's good to always down to chop up some MMA and talk what's going on.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna do it differently. Normally I go first, but I'm gonna let my co-host Jonathan, or Crazy J as we call him on the show, I'm gonna let him take the lead on this one. Go ahead.
Cool. Hey man, how's it going?
Good, Crazy Jay. How you doing, man?
Oh man, just working my ass off, man. Trying to get this thing going with my buddy, and I'm very thankful for your time. So thank you. I'd like to just get straight to the point, man. My first question I got for you is, how do you balance your podcasting with while you're hosting MMA junking and all MMA junking? Oh my God, MMA junkie and all of your other shit you got going on in your life.
That's a good question, man. Everybody has their own secrets, and I'm always trying to get those from my colleagues, even though we all kind of work different beats. I mean, there's journalists, there's more road-based journalists, if you will, videographers, etc. The analyst one's kind of strange because, again, MMA it's such a new sport, so therefore all the jobs and cottage industry attached is all kind of new too. So there's not really a book on how to do things or get to certain places. And even then, when you're lucky enough to do so, there's no book on how to maintain that. And that's what I find most challenging. So that's a good question, Crazy Jay. I've actually spent, a lot of time really trying to do that. And lately been doing a little better. Sometimes you just have to cut back in certain areas to give others attention. I think that so many of us are wired. We want to do such a good job, and you never want to say no. And opportunities are definitely a blessing in life, but especially in an industry like this, you got to jump on every opportunity. That being said, it's really easy to say yes too much and overextend yourself, and subsequently your work, your psyche, all these things could pay for it. And again, this is stuff that's super applicable, I guess, to anybody in any kind of job, not just MMA, but for me, in my experience, that's what I found. So I've kind of did some rebalancing. But really, it just comes down to getting yourself kind of in a schedule, because there is no schedule. So you really got to do your best to at least come correct with your end, because the other end, let's face it, guys, not to timestamp this episode too much, but really every day in MMA, it's like some new crazy stories dropping that's kind of getting our attention. So kind of a long-winded answer, but balance, I guess, is the hot phrase.
That was a very balanced answer.
Yeah. I'm still fairly new to to the whole MMA world, and the people that like you that cover these events. I guess it's just like my own personal question. With the MMA junkie, I guess it's a platform, right? For all things MMA. So do you yourself specifically cover like specific cards, or do you work with other people and cover multiple things, or do you just watch it yourself and then you analyze and cover everything?
That's a good question. When I was solo, I guess I was my own editor and my own kind of guider of the ship, if you will. So I just kind of cover what was important, and I had my own kind of unique approach where I was going to cover UFC cards, but not only that, I was going to kind of break them down in depth from kind of a long form from the perspective of a martial artist or fighter, and that seemed to do well, and that kind of led me into other outlets, so not just with MMA Junkie. So yeah, answering your question, MMA Junkie is an outlet, but with MMA Junkie, the other outlets that I work for, it all kind of depends on editorial and their position. For example, smaller sites will kind of cover more regional shows. They'll have more European MMA, Asian MMA. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not the reason why they're a smaller site. In fact, it's actually very smart for those smaller sites to do that, because quote unquote bigger sites like MMA Junkie or MMA Fighting, because their profile and standing, even if we want to cover certain things, because there's a lot of back end conversation that you guys don't see, we're well aware of these small stories, whether they're rumors of bigger stories that are out or certain things, but we're also it's hard. As good of a position we're in, we're also, I don't want to say handcuffed, that sounds like a very negative word, but we are also limited because, again, even though we're very aware and savvy of what's going on, there are bigger editors that kind of man the house, pay the bills, and to kind of convince them that, hey, we want to cover Edward Furlong on one championship while there's a bunch of Conor McGregor news floating around, and that seems to get all the clicks. It's really tough to, even if we wanted to, kind of persuade bosses of that. So it all comes down, I guess, to the outlet's house, where their standing is, and how the editors run it. So for me, they were obviously all about covering UFC, or me continuing to do that, because they already cover the UFC. I already cover the UFC. So that was great. But also answering your question, if you saw last year, about 2018, I started covering Bellator for the first time. Yeah. And as hardcore of MMA fan as I am, guys, I'll be honest, I'll come clean. I actually barely watched Bellator unless someone I knew, like Michael Chandler, was fighting. So that's been a definite experience. And I've actually become a much bigger Bellator fan because of it. So that's just my answer and kind of my journey as to how the outlet affects my coverage of the sport.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So how do you prepare when you're breaking down fights?
Again, kind of after a while, you kind of get a process, and I started my process pretty organically. I mean, even what you see, the final product, so to speak, you'll see in my breakdowns at MMAJunkie.com. You'll see, it goes staple information, supplemental information, and then my summary. That actually was just a takeaway from notes for when I was studying fights before I was even publishing them on any website, much even mine. I would just have your basic notepad and paper, write a guy's name on one side of the paper, another guy's on the other, and that's kind of how the information organically formed. And that's just my style, but I guess the key there that's applicable to everybody listening is notes. Being organized and having notes is huge. You guys are podcasting right now, in fact, and that's a really big one that I am still constantly failing at every time, guys.
Bullshit.
I try to be good.
Bullshit.
No. I try to, honestly, as much as long-winded as I am, as detailed as I am, if you saw what I actually put for like my talking points, I actually, I'm quote-unquote organized with my notes quote-unquote in front of me. All that's true, but even then, it's so hard to kind of keep track. You're always going to miss things. So in answering the question you asked to me and kind of deflecting it to something that especially us podcasters can relate to, or maybe even apply, man, notes are a big key, and you kind of build off there, and just doing the work too. I mean, if I want to break down a fight well, getting the pick right or wrong, that's just craziness. I mean, I think we put a little bit too much weight to that. I know I do myself. This sport is just insane. We see it every week. But I do hold myself to a very high standards. I do want to put out a good breakdown because, if I do put out bad work, I deserve every bit of criticism for that. So I always want to try hard to not do that. And in juxtaposition, just like you guys or other podcasters out there who may be listening, or people who interview, is when you have, whether it's an interview subject you're interviewing, or if you guys are just kind of talking about topics right on your show, if you don't research those topics and kind of do the legwork, that will come through to your listeners. Same with my writing. It'll come through in my writing if I didn't do my legwork. So really, it's just not skipping the legwork and taking notes along the way. It makes a huge difference in everybody's game.
Yeah, I like you talking about making sure you take notes and stuff. Because since I'm kind of like a baby coming into this MMA world, And so I really don't know who anybody is unless they're like really big name people, that gets thrown in the mainstream news and media and all that stuff. So I've actually been taking notes and stuff. And I made a big oops on our first episode, and I was like, I've got this. I can wing it. I'll write the fighter's name down and stuff, but I'll remember what goes on. I did not remember shit, and I felt like such an idiot. Like, why didn't I just do what I've been doing for the last couple of times that I've been trying to get into it? And yeah, you could tell.
I hear you, man, dude. I still make those mistakes on the weekly, man. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Believe me. Even if you are prepared, you're gonna have it prepared, and you're gonna say, you're gonna say the wrong name. You're gonna confuse it for some other name, and not even catch it. And that's kind of one of those funny tidbits that just kind of go along with podcasting and being in a position where you have to talk.
Gotcha. All right, well, so this will be the last question for me, and then I will turn it over to my host. When you're not working your ass off doing what you do, how do you unwind? Like, what do you do for fun? Like, recharge the batteries to balance everything out.
That's another good question, man. It's something I haven't really done too much of. I always suggest trying to get away with friends, family, significant others as much as you can. Because you can. It's weird because I feel guilty, with me or even you saying that it's work because, I've dug ditches, I've worked construction, I've worked multiple jobs at one time, and had to do so while I was even starting this profession. Being up at a register and writing down notes between customers in the spare time and trying to vision where you're going to go off from. So sorry, I'm running on these long-winded answers here for you, crazy day. But sorry, what was the question again? Sorry.
What do you do? What do you do for fun? What do you do on your spare time? What does Dan Tom do when he's not working?
See, look at this leads right into the answer because I barely do that enough that I can't. I'm getting lost trying to answer you guys. I'm jumping back all the way to 2014 with these stories here because literally about from 2014 to 2015, I'm a workaholic type, so I don't know if I'm the best person to speak to. But if you're like that, then I guess you'll understand. But I didn't do it enough, and it took tolls in so many different ways, from work, personal, professional, to just physical health. And for me personally, it was, I got to start, something I'm doing this year, which is just getting back with exercise and getting back on the mats. In fact, I was just coordinating with my niece and trying to get my little niece into jiu-jitsu to come in with me and stuff like that, because for me that's just kind of the best release. Hanging out with my dog, who you heard just bark there a little bit, but it's really important to have these times to get away. When friends convinced me to kayak the other day, that was super blast out here at the Colorado River that runs through the Vegas, Arizona area. But just getting out to do these things, I know us MMA fans we get into this habit where we're like, MMA every weekend, yes, and to the point where, of course, as journalists are like, yeah, we finally have an MMA free weekend, after 9 straight weeks of UFC. And a lot of people come at us online like, what? Come on, we want it every week. And as much as I appreciate that level of fandom for MMA or anything else, it's too much of a good thing is a bad thing, guys, boys and girls listening out there. So whatever it is, not just MMA we're talking about, or not just work or working in MMA, like anything, like really one of the biggest lessons I've had is really been taking that time. So good question.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to answer that for me. I'm going to turn it back over to my host, Steve the Dick, and he'll take it from here, man. Thank you.
All
right. Now, let's call a spade, okay? Like you were saying, too much MMA or too much of anything is a bad thing. And that goes double for anybody covering the sport. Because not only are you covering it as a job, but you're also covering it as a fan. So I can definitely understand where you're coming from when you're talking about, 9 weeks straight of UFC and, sprinkle in your Bellators, your LFAs, your 1FCs. I mean, the list goes on. You can't even really like keep track of all these promotions that are, you know, starting to get out there. Like, I like what 1FC is doing, I like what KSW is doing, but again, it kind of seems like it's oversaturation. But at the same time, I can't complain, because it gives knuckleheads like me, you, Crazy J, the boys at MMA Junkies, you know, it gives us knuckleheads, you know, something to you know, work on, be passionate about. And you know, if you're passionate about your work, then you're not really working. You know what I mean? So for us, this is more of like kind of like our fun time. Yeah, we're trying to take it as seriously as we can, because we want this podcast to grow. You know, if we could be on the level of like MMA Junkie or, you know, any of those other sites, then hell yeah, that's the ultimate goal. But we're just trying to have fun along the way. So I guess that'll go into my first question, which is your podcast. Listen, I love your podcast. It's funny, it's informative, it's technical, and it's a good time. You know, I can be sitting there at work crunching numbers, or, you know, taking apart a fan, and I understand, you know, how much fun you're having. You know what I mean? Because I have fun every time I do it. So how do you do it? You're a one-man show. Like, how the hell do you make it so interesting? Because when I did it, it was boring as shit.
I appreciate that, man. And just on that note you said previously, you're right. It's because of the crazy schedule and the crazy growth that we can have jobs, hobbies, and everything in between. So yeah, you're 100% right on that. And I appreciate the compliment on the podcast, man. And it is difficult when it's a one-man show. Just in general, I mean, you guys, you know, see everything goes along with a podcast. So just having that on one person is one thing, but more importantly, you know, carrying the show. You know, I can have all the notes in the world and all the legwork, like we were talking about, right? It's so important. It is, especially for what I do. You know, kind of having notes and making sure you put the hard work and research in and know what you're talking about. But even then, it can all fall flat if you don't know how to present it, format it, and hopefully, at least I try to. I'm not as good as I'd like to, but I appreciate that it sounds like it's translating, which is make it entertaining. You know, make it funny. And one of my big influences is somebody who is actually funny for a living is Bill Burr and the Monday morning podcast that he does. And you know, he just gets, it's just him for about an hour or so. He talks about a bunch of different stuff, takes emails. Obviously, it's a complete different show, complete different topic, but there's an art to what he's doing where he has to make it interesting, whether he's doing voices or, you know, speaking like the other perspective, you know, because there is no other perspective there to bounce it off. There's no one to call him out on his shit. There's no one on the podcast to call me out on my shit. So I'm constantly, as they say, taking the piss out of myself all the time, which is fine because I have a self-deprecating personality anyways. It's I have very little ego to tread on, so that's totally cool. I don't mind sacrificing myself to make myself the butt of the jokes, and it keeps it fair and balanced because, you know, obviously I have my comic commentary on others that hopefully, you know, as the podcast grows, when these people actually listen to it, they don't find it offensive and see the comedy in it, but we'll see. But yeah, I appreciate that though, man. And yeah, that's been a big thing that I continue to try to improve on, and feedback like that really helps.
Well, I'll tell you what, it sounds like you put a lot of work into it, and, you know, like you were saying, the legwork, the notes and everything, but you make it seem like you didn't, like you just rolled out of bed and, you know, just turned on the fucking computer and started recording. So kudos to you, because like I said, you're making it sound like it's easy, you know. And we have a hard time. Just yesterday, we had last week we had to reschedule an interview with Pat Miletich, and, you know, I was calling on him to see if he can reschedule for sometime this week, and he's like, "Oh, I'm free now." So we literally had to scramble and get the interview done like right then. So it's very tough for guys who are A, just starting out, you know, B, still working out the kinks. And like I said, you're a big inspiration to me. You know, like I said, all you guys on Junkie, really. I listen to John Morgan. I listen to Ben Folks. I listen to the show while I'm at work every day. I really love the site. I really love the content. And I really love you guys as people. You know, not to sound creepy or anything or anything like that. But what I will say is when I'm watching the show, Okay, especially when you're on. I love it when they have you on, and I love it when they have John Morgan on. John Morgan just has like the perfect voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got the perfect voice. So anytime John Morgan's on, I'm like, okay, crank that up a little bit because I wish I sounded like him. That'd be great. But when the callers call in, you seem to like chirp up. Like you can hear it when they're like, okay, and it's Marco from Waco, and you're like, yeah, what's up, Marco? Like you really enjoy the callers. Why is that?
Oh, thanks, man. I never. I mean, it's not. I definitely don't deny that, but yeah, I've never really thought about it like how you put it. But yeah, man, that's really cool that you bring that to my attention because yeah, I do enjoy the colors. It's always nice. It's why I like the show. I started off as a listener before they were Junkie Radio. They were Tag Radio before they got absorbed by what was a new MMA Junkie. So. And most of the callers that I kind of fell in love with, so to speak, don't really call the show anymore these days. But you get new callers like the Marcos from Wacos of the world who calls in other shows as well. And so other people are kind of aware of these people. And you get excited. And you meet some of them through, I'm sure you've heard, they have these junkie gatherings once a year, most years. And you meet some of these people that come in, and it's great. And I started off as a caller myself. My first call, ironically enough, was... I called in and like laid out my predictions for like UFC 118 or something back in the day, and did pretty good on them. And so it was kind of fortuitous that I ended up being on the show breaking stuff down. But yeah, I always love the callers. I love that interaction. It's a slow build, especially when you're not a great builder and like myself. As far as like a podcast goes, like I always joke I'm only on iTunes and my site. I actually have SoundCloud accounts. I have YouTube accounts. Like I've had these accounts since 2016, and I still haven't used them. So. Again, guys, I'm not the best for podcasting advice, but yeah, I really, but back to the interaction, I enjoy that to where the top 5 episodes, which are nice because that actually influences listener interaction, and you get to talk, so it's nice. But I don't have a show format where I can take calls, which. It's probably one of my more favorite parts of radio, and yeah, I mean, like I said with the Bill Burr podcast, he has people email in, and he's able to kind of pontificate and be funny in responding to that. And I'm definitely going to be working toward that in the future. But I'm obviously not at the level where I'm getting emails in. So I think when you get that interaction, you're like, hey, yeah, you get that jolt, and I'm sure you guys will see it as you start to grow your podcast, whether it's just a comment like. Hey, I just subscribed, or whatever it is. You get this little jolt. You're like, yeah, that's awesome.
Well, every little subscription, every little comment, every little anything when you're doing something, it's motivating. It's huge, especially when you're just starting out. Like us, I mean, we got to interview Pat Miletich on the first week of doing this.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, we're not having very much success with a lot of the fighters that we reached out to, but a lot of them are very busy, and they're trying to get their own shit going. But so for us, it was like, oh my God, we're talking to Pat Miletich, and now for me, because I am what you would call a junkie, so for me, talking to a Dan Tom, like this is a big deal to me, and I hope that you understand where I'm coming from, because like you. I started off as a fan of MMA Junkie. I called in a couple times and, dropped the ball on probably both my calls. I was talking to Michael Chandler and I was sweating, and it was the middle of winter. I didn't know what the fuck to say, so I asked him a question they had already asked him like 10 minutes prior. So, I mean, it takes a lot of guts, especially since you're on fucking camera. You know what I mean? And your shit's live. And you boys, you got, like I said, y'all make it look easy. So just understand that I'm a fan, and I'm really glad that we all have this outlet. Now, excuse me, sorry, I'm drinking what your boy Morgan would call a frosty beverage over here. So
yeah,
pardon me while I take another swig.
Nice, there you go.
Okay, but now with your breakdowns, you're super technical, and just like you had mentioned before. This is MMA, dude. This is it's not boxing or professional wrestling or even jiu-jitsu. It's a mix of everything, and it's 100% unpredictable. So when you're breaking down fights, does it ever like does that ever weigh on your decisions? Like, you know what, this guy should win. Like when a John Jones fights or a Mighty Mouse, you know what I mean? They're such high caliber, like, you know, leaps and bounds above everybody else. Like, does the fact that they are 4-ounce gloves and that anything can happen in the sport, does that ever weigh on your decision? And is that why you go on your I forget how you called it. It's like the something or pass.
Dog or pass?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that could definitely play into why, you know, someone would label a fight dog or pass for sure. But I think the more kind of grander, but yet more precise way to package it is kind of opportunism versus process, was just something I talk about. I think that kind of answers your question where, yes, all the analysis in the world, and we can, you know, one punch can change it. And sure, on the regular, I will confidently, and not just, you know, taking a shot on the dog, can, you know, give you solid reasons on why someone that's a 3 to 4 to 1 underdog can win, and have been right on those picks, and that's fine. And I've been wrong on those picks, and that's also fine. But yeah, you're right. When we start talking about, that's a good example you gave with a John Jones. When you start talking about guys who dictate those, you know, minus 1,200 favorites, or those, you know, plus 900 underdogs, those ridiculous odds. Yeah, you're going to find people like me, whether it's me myself or people like me. Yes, you will find us more often than not still on the favorite, even though we're acknowledging from the one punch perversion to other legitimate pathways that I could actually legitimately explain and show work for. We're still going to be siding with that big favorite. And again, to everything, every situation has its own reasons, but the reason why I tie that to opportunism versus process is because, you know, whether it's me or people like myself, again, we're all very different in our style, how we collect information, how we dispense information, and what we ultimately understand. All of us are different. Me, Luke Thomas, Connor Rebush, all these different guys who I respect, all different processes, but the key word there is process. And when you're looking at fights and you're looking at things and you've seen enough of style matchups and you've seen enough of how things go and kind of can decently piece together where, yes, no, I cannot guarantee you a winner, but listen, either this guy is going to have his way early because of this, and that, or this guy is going to take over if that guy fails because of that, and this. And as long as we can do that, I think we're always going to side with the side of process versus opportunism. And opportunism, obviously, is what you're talking about. The one-punch power guys, the Thiago Maheta Santoses of the world, where you don't know what they're going to bring, right? The Johnny Walkers of the world.
Exactly.
And that's not taken away because those guys do technical things well. I'm not trying to take away from them, but they're more opportunist, if you will. And so if you look at it, like Thiago Santos has won more than he's lost. He's on this crazy streak. He's one of the nicest dudes as well, apparently. Like, I have no bad feeling about this guy, but if you look back on my picks, I barely picked him at all in this run. Because oftentimes, and this is something that is true, again, with like a lot of the guys I mentioned, we'll pick the more dependable style. Like, yeah, this guy's got flashy striking, but this guy's a wrestler, and then sometimes I'll go opposite of that and go completely against that, and it'll make no sense either. So yeah, you can get into your own head, and it can mess with you, but it often comes down to, as I put it, opportunism versus process.
All right, beautiful answer. I like your articulation. I like you break down questions just as well as you break down fights.
I hope so. I felt like I was ranting, but thanks, man.
No, I mean, I'm trying not to sound like too much of a nut hugger, so just, flick me if I'm getting too close. But
no, you're good. You guys are good. I appreciate it, man. I believe me, I've been working in this industry for a little bit now, and I'm still not used to, again, like I listen to John Morgan on Junkie Radio. The dude called an amateur fight of mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, now I work with this dude. Like, so believe me, man. There's different levels to it, but we all feel the same stuff.
Oh, that's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this world works in weird ways.
All right, so let's. I want to get a couple more questions in, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. So let's kind of go like a lightning round, if you will. I'll ask you a question. You give me a quick answer. Does that sound like fun?
Let's rock.
Favorite fighter? Male.
BJ Penn.
Okay, BJ Penn, male, female.
Valentina Shevchenko.
Okay, favorite fighter to break down?
Tony Ferguson.
A fighter that won you the most money?
Fabricio Verdum.
Okay, Jones or Santos?
Jones.
Damn, you're fast. You are fucking fast. I couldn't even think of any more questions. That was great. All right.
No,
cool.
I love that. Was a good question.
I was like, fuck, he's too fast. I can't think this quick. All right, so obviously, I'd love to do this again, but I understand your time is precious. Maybe if we could get you to co-host an episode. We usually do it Saturday nights. If we need to move it to a Sunday for you, hey, we're down. We'll work with you, and we'll figure that out over our cellular telephones. But that was hard to say. Plug all of your social media, any of your work, whatever you want to do. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thanks, man, and yeah, definitely down to come back and chat with you guys. Pretty much easiest way is just at DanComMMA. I'm the most active on Twitter. That's my podcast, and all my articles and stuff I'll post and give you links there. So just go there, and that'll make it the easiest. Thanks, guys.
Okay, cool. Well, that's Dan Tom, the baddest breakdowner. I'm gonna call you a breakdowner. Does that sound malicious? A breakdowner?
I've been called worse, man. I've been called worse.
Well, again, thank you for the time, and I hope we can do this again.
Yeah, definitely, guys. You have a great night, and then we'll be in touch.
All right, sounds good. You have a good night, man.
Easy.